Alright. Can you make my hair look like this?
Oh, man, what you want to make your hair look like that for?
Will you let the man tee you off? You yap worse than 6 barbers.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Your Barber podcast. I'm your host, Matt Belot, a.k.a. Matty Blades, and the new owner of Sharp's Barber Suite. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Things are different now. We're going to get into the how, why, and when of the closure of the Anguished Barber, the old shop I worked at, and my new situation. And who better to have on than the man that came up with the concept? He is a veteran in the game of 20 years. He is a midtown Atlanta legend. His name is Wil Alicia. Hey, there he is. Welcome to the show, my man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Thanks for coming on, man. I know you had a busy day. It's been a long
Running and
one.
gunning. Running and gunning, baby. Running and gunning.
Yeah, we actually work in the same building now. We kind of crossed paths this morning. I had a near fumble. I had a client. He was actually a friend as well, but a client. He was flying out to Paris. Had a lot of shit to record on camera, so he had to kind of get it cut no matter what today. And I got a call. I just rolled out of bed, a little hungover from watching the Copa Cup last night. And I'm like, oh my God, he's calling me. I just remembered. So, yeah, had to get my wife to a meeting after that and made sure everything was good. No casualties.
At least you made that. That was the important thing.
Yeah, I was able to make everyone happy at the end of the day, which is what barbers do. Wil, warm welcome to Wil, the Mad Barber. Wil, the Mad Barber. Where did this come from, the mad aspect? Because you've always been a sweetheart in my eyes, man.
Well, thank you. No, it really started with just my family members. Once I made the transition into barbering, I'm focused on what I'm doing. So they say I have that angry expression. So, it helped me out. Some clients are like, what the hell, this guy. Yeah. But it helps me out, and everybody knows the same right now. But it also kind of took off once I started cutting hair for the MMA fighters, UFC fighters, and stuff like that. They wanted crazy designs, so the Mad Barber.
This gentleman right here.
That guy. We're all mad here.
We're all mad here.
That was my boy Sam. Actually, I was with him today doing the photograph thing, the photo shoots and stuff. So, yeah, okay. Man. Thanks to him for that shot. That was his imagination.
I was going to say, that was a good idea. I like that. I like that direction. Absolutely. There. Okay, man. So before we dive into anything further, I'll just go ahead and dive into my opening monologue here called Just an Observation. Just an observation, right? So I had this the other day. We're yes men all day, right? We're yesing everyone, just like I almost up today. I was like, yeah, man, I'll cut you on my day off. I'll come in early for you. And then I almost forgot about it. So, we're saying nice, but, clients are showing up late. We're still like, oh, it's all good, man. No worries. Right. And then we leave our workspace, we leave the shop, and then it turns into like, the mad thing again. We're like on a rampage almost. We're like pissy. So
no, I think that we are yes men, but we do have to set those boundaries. And when it's my day off, man, I'll see you. Now, mind you, I get it. It was an emergency. Stuff like that does come up, but maybe it comes with a little extra cheddar on the side.
Yeah. In this case, I actually hooked them up. I charged them less because I fucked up.
Jesus, we got bills here.
So I ate that one, but yeah, man. Sometimes you take it out in traffic. You know, you're kind of whipping through. You're like, what the like? You know what I mean? Like, speaking of the Copa America, like when Messi came to Atlanta, I was trying to pick my daughter up from this like daycare. It was her first time in it. And I was trying not to run late, be the last dad coming. I'm whipping through, and all of a sudden the apocalypse is happening downtown. Messi shows up. People are like hopping outside the bus like children.
I know. Same thing up here in Kennesaw because that's where they were working out.
Yeah, they were practicing there.
They were working out the whole week, so it was chaos the whole week. At least down there, it was only one day.
Jesus, man. So, yeah, how do you kind of deal with that? Sometimes you even take it out on the family a little bit. Like the house is a mess or something when you come home and you're like, you know.
It happens, man. I mean, again,
come home to this.
It's part of it, man. We're away from our families so much as barbers, you know. We're catering, or we're men, we're providers, you know, and that's what it comes down to. You know, you're constantly busy, you're constantly working, you're constantly out the house. And it's just part of it, man. It's part of the nature. I thank God that my wife has been very, 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 very good at tolerating me for these 20 years.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, we're artists, you know. We're mad scientists, we're mad artists sometimes. Sometimes we go a little off the hinge, but you know, we reel it back. It's all about that balance. You know, Absolutely. We do things to make sure we don't get too high or too low. And that's one thing I always noticed about you, to big you up, man. Like I always knew you someone as was almost like militant and like just like consistency and providing that service. And yeah, we all respected you, man, when we worked around you in the shop. And you were responsible for hiring me in the barbershop. And you know, I heard like you heard I was a Knicks fan, and you're like, okay, no questions asked.
He's hired. Man is hired. Yeah.
So we share the New York Knicks thing. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and I'm trying to figure out if we should dive into the situations of everything or to get into your background and kind of like lead into it that way. Whichever one you want,
man. Whatever's more comfortable for you.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and mention at least I had some time. You know, I learned some things, some situations about the barbershop that led me to opening my own business. And I had some time ahead of time to kind of figure it out, which I was lucky. And, you know, I don't burn bridges much. I keep all of my relationships, you know, I keep pretty open with everyone. And, I try to just be myself around everyone, which is, you know, someone who gets along, and that kind of helped me out in the end. So I was able to kind of get the barber suite open, and now I've been working for about six to 7 weeks now. Things are good. And, you know, we both had a departure from the barbershop before it eventually went under. It went out of business permanently. And, let's it's kind of the elephant in the room, man. It's unfortunate, man, because it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful shop, and I bragged about it for forever. And you know, hence this long hiatus from the podcast. I kind of had to get the suite opened, figure out what was kind of the new direction of the podcast and where to go, and kind of got to rip off the Band-Aid and address what happened. So so you came up with kind of the concept of the shop, right? I knew it was kind of your baby, even though there was many people involved. You know, you were kind of the, you know, you're the talent / owner. You know what I mean?
I was the brains. I'm the brains
of
the operations, pretty much, when it comes down to the concept. You know, coming up with the concept. You know, working in Midtown for close to 10 years at the time that I was proposed this endeavor. You know, I came up with the concept, just looking at the area, going out and seeing how the bar scene was.
Explain to the people what the concept is real fast, who aren't familiar.
the concept was easy. We're in midtown Atlanta. A lot of high end individuals. For law firms. The Federal Reserve is right down the street. So again, these are high end folks, and I just thought about putting those two concepts together of a bar for entertainment and barbering. So basically, one helped the other one. So the people that were coming in just for the bar now noticed that there was a barbershop available, and then the people that came in for haircuts also utilized the bar. So at first, that concept was not proven here in Atlanta. We were the first in Atlanta to actually have a bar, a full liquor license
Full
available.
functioning bar. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it, man. It all comes down to that, man. I mean, the way that I came up with the person, or to the person that helped me out, bring this dream to fruition. He was a client of mine at another barbershop, and I was a little upset at my current location where I was. So due to a good situation, same thing. I was looking behind the chair. Been already behind the chair for over 15 years. I just saw myself in the same vicious cycle. I was completely full on my books, but yet there's no growth. You hit a plateau and you can't elevate. So I was looking for that next step with the barbershop that I was with. Again, owners, I've been cutting their hair for over 13 years. I'm thinking I'm gravy. I'm good.
Yeah.
Bringing them this new information that I did all the background research for a barbershop up here near me. And I said, hey, look, this could work. You have the college right here, all this stuff. So I went ahead, I presented all the information, all the findings, and all of the paperwork that I had come up with. A month later, they turned around, they signed the lease, and they didn't even include me into the mix. So at that point, I knew that I had an exit from that particular situation. This person noticed that and said, hey, let me just, I think you have a good, idea. Let's see if we can make it work. That's when I was presented or brought up to Mr. David, the little guy. And that's my dude, man. That's my brother. And next to him, I've been able to kind of grow as a business owner and all that kind of stuff, because he showed me hustle. I did bust my ass there from 10 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night behind the chair. And then after that, I would stay sometimes till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning for the bar to help clean and whatever, as an owner should.
Yeah.
But, David would come from his job and stay at the bar till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with Mika, our great bartender. And dude, I mean, again, where was the other individual? Nowhere in the room. That's my girl.
This is Mika right here. This was kind of the meat and potatoes of the barbershop and bar right here.
That's it, man. When COVID hit, those two individuals there kept that place running.
Yeah,
that's it.
I was gonna say, you guys were probably the best, examples of leadership and performance and execution. So like when the team saw things start to fall apart or people start to go their separate ways, when these two people right here when these two left, we knew it was only a matter of time. And
that was it, man. I mean, again, being the mastermind behind the idea of the Anguished Barber, having such a creative mind and such a talented mixologist in Mika. I'm not bragging, but I'm well known in Midtown. So why break that up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I guess people have their reasons. I guess karma sort them out.
Yeah, I called her the LeBron James of bartending, and you're a legend. So it's man, it was tough. It was a good run. I was there a couple years, and I was grateful for I really didn't have as many moments in the barbershop with you as I, wish I did. When you were in the shop, when me and you were in the shop together, I was still like climbing out of the quicksand, man. Like I was like trying to get in the city on time, like figuring out how to navigate around and just getting settled in. And then, trying to not, have tunnel vision in the shop and just like, just trying to fit in. And then I ended up getting a lot more comfortable, but it seemed like it was like when you left. And
I hate the fact that occurred, because again, I had finally filled up everything. The chairs were full. We were profitable. Man. And then whatever happened. And again, we can go into that too if you want to. But for me, if the deal ain't right, and I don't need to agree to it. Makes sense? So I felt that I had more to do with the success of that business than I guess he thought that I had. But I guess I prevailed in the end.
So, like, how long was that relationship intact as a barber-client relationship with you and the
individual?
Yeah.
Well, basically, I had been cutting his hair for almost 3 years, I believe.
Okay.
At that point, but mind you, with me, you're behind the chair 30 minutes.
Yeah.
How well can you know somebody?
No, yeah.
In 30 minutes, you really don't.
It's a lot of pleasantries before you can dive in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, he wasn't the type of individual to go hand in hand in working with his staff. I believe that he had that narcissistic type of behavior, or that he felt that he was above everything and everyone. So just to give you an example, grand opening, we have 104 people in the barbershop.
Wow.
Drinking, hanging out, and 11:30 comes around, and we start kind of getting everybody ready to go. And guess who left too?
He just got out. Okay.
So here I am, David Anderson, my wife, and the bar staff with Kim, that was another owner, and we're in there rolling up our sleeves, cleaning bathrooms, cleaning the bar, mopping floors, doing what needed to be done. And the individual left. So at that point, I believe the staff lost respect for him at that time, at that moment.
And that's right out of the gate.
Yeah. And then a month later, we get hit with COVID.
Wow. So you opened, the grand opening was in 2019, right?
So 2019, we got the licenses and everything, all the permits, everything straightened out to start working. Yeah. So at that point, me and Mika both jump in there. And we just start, because again, I didn't have at that point, I had told my other place in September, hey, I got to go, because we thought that by September, I was going to just close over there, open up here, and then I'm good. Nah, that wasn't the case. I was 2 months just floating around, trying to figure out my clients, making sure my clients were taken care of. I found a spot over on the West End that a buddy of mine let me work out of. So I worked out of there for a little bit. In order to keep my clientele happy, we went ahead and opened up in, I believe, end of November, beginning of December, where the doors opened. But we didn't do the grand opening until February 22nd, I believe.
Okay.
Is the right date. And then 20 days later, pretty much, COVID hits.
Man, I've had on some people on this podcast that, like, just when even their barber career started, they may have got smacked with COVID. Man, it was a terrible time. I mean, talk about that just briefly, like, getting through that and like, you come together with this dream, all of your hard work that's led up to this, and then something like that happens and it's like, man, now what? Like, you know what I mean?
No, the good thing about it was that everybody was going through it. It wasn't just me.
Yeah.
So
no, that's a good point.
We figured it out. David Anderson kind of rolled up his sleeves and we figured it out we had to come out of our shell, right? And figure out what that space could do other than just barbering and having a bar. So we started trying to host events in order to sustain, right? Because again, it was only me and Mika working. 3,200 square foot place with a bar and a barber side. and the barber side had 11 chairs, and I'm the only one working.
Yeah. So to give people an idea, like David Anderson, from my perspective, he was the first person I spoke with. He kind of handled the HR and payroll duties, right? But apparently he did a lot more behind the scenes and, help steer and help mend a lot of relationships too, right? That were kind of starting to get bumpy, right?
Well, they started to get bumpy from the beginning.
Yeah.
Once we started noticing that, it was too late. I had already quit my other place, and
decided to kind of
we started seeing just signs. Yeah, we started seeing signs that were bad. Like, give you an example, a month before opening, Kim, which was our general manager, she was like, "Hey guys, I have a promotion that I want to put out on Facebook. It costs $20 to post it out." David comes, gets his $20 out of his pocket and gives it to Kim. Right? Kim goes ahead, she pushes it out. He sees it, and immediately, "Oh, who approved this? Oh, this, that, and the other." Like, dude, we're all owners here, bro. We're all trying to go in the same direction.
It's not like it's the detriment of the business, like.
and again, even though that was small, but that's the type of
said
petty,
a lot.
That's the type of petty stuff that drew the relationships between all of us. And mind you, out of 5 business partners, there was only one left at the end, and he was the common denominator for everybody leaving.
Yeah, and that's one thing I kind of read the writing too. Like, eventually.
And I let you guys figure that out, because again,
I was going to say you did a very good job of like keeping it professional and letting us kind of like, figuring it out in our way. Like he did too. He did too, though.
I set up red flags, but you guys needed to figure out by yourself. I couldn't say anything. It was just the way, I don't. There's no reason.
You guys
my
did
relationship with him.
Both of you guys did a good job of, masking the turmoil a little bit, and it was all love from the outside, but from the inside. So me, you, David, and Seth go to a Knicks Hawks game. I think this was 2 Februarys ago. And this is when I kind of like got a little insider on what the hell was happening. I was like, so I'm calling you the night before, I think, and I'm like, "Hey man, I got to work until like 7. The tip's at 7:30. It's going to be tight." And you're like, just like, "Man, tell them you got to leave early." And I'm like, "Oh, all right." And you're just like, "Yeah, we don't like see eye to eye right now." I'm like, "Oh, all right, okay." And then like we're in the Uber, man, and you guys just light me up.
The barrage of information. And again, I hate the fact that it went down that way. It's such a beautiful shop. I don't know if any of your guests were able to kind of go visit that location. It was beautiful. I believe it was a little bit bigger than what we needed. Half of the place wasn't really generating any kind of income. But again, at the end of the day, when I was there, we were profitable.
Yeah. I mean, there were so many things you could have utilized, and that wasn't the end of the growth of it either. It's a shame that you couldn't really see it all out.
He didn't have the vision. He didn't have the vision of what. And again, I feel bad for the staff.
Yeah.
Because all the way to the last day, he wasn't upfront with you guys with his decisions of what he was going to do. Make sense?
No,
we should have told you guys way in advance, like, "Hey guys, I don't, you know what I mean? This ain't gonna work." And you guys would have a lot of time in order to figure it out to where you were going. But again, lessons learned. I'm glad that you took initiative and kind of up and bound as soon as you did.
And I had good examples of it. Like, you brought some people into the shop, like Julie, not to name any more names, but like, I kind of got to see you guys were role models, and I kind of got a blueprint of how to get out if I needed to. And the night of that Knicks game, if you recall, I was like, I'm not ready yet. I'm like still in year 1, like I'm still trying to build and do it the right way. And that's the thing about suites and the suite, topic a little bit. Just like people seem to, it ain't working in the shop for a week, man. I think I'm gonna open up my own suite. Like it's Number one, you have to be built for a suite. You have to be responsible to show up on time, do the work, be professional.
On your own.
On your own. You have to do the laundry. Laundry is the name of the game. People don't realize you just can't let wet towels sit in a fucking bin. You know what I mean? You got to clean them. They're going to mold. They're going to get musty on you. Like, it's a constant revolving laundry. And
all day, every day.
And then the customer acquisition, the marketing, you got to, if your name's not out there, like you have the privilege of like, you could just let it rock really if you wanted to, because, you have a massive following and,
Yeah.
But still do stay hungry.
I still do. Yeah, I have to, because there's some days, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, every day it ain't full. And if I have to travel an hour to go to work, which I do,
yeah,
I want to be busy every minute that I'm down there.
Oh, yeah. You want to make every second count. Yeah.
So I do thank God that I have a great following. My clients, I can't thank them enough. But they were the ones telling me you do this anywhere. Like, I'm gonna follow you. I'm here for you. This place is beautiful, but I'm here for you. Hey, you're not here anymore. Then I'm out. Which was, I moved to this, which you're in right now, and there we go.
Me and Will are in like a kind of salon loft location, one chair operation, and I'm in there with a couple former coworkers, so it's beautiful to kind of be around some people still, but I'm doing my own thing. It's kind of it's a beautiful mix, and I love it, to be honest. Like, I'm more of a loner in a lot of ways. Like, I'm an only child. Like, this is cool to me. I got my TV. I'm talking to people about college football. Like, I'm going to put a whiteboard up with my bets on it. It's going to be fully immersive. So I'm having fun with it, man. And but real quick to veer off before we get into your background and continue the interview. I really respected your leadership style, and I think everyone in the shop did. We saw you in the trenches doing the work at a high level, and you answered any questions, and you were honest and raw with us, and you did show us, like, I like how, we had some services in the shop, and I remember at one point we kind of had a lot of new faces, me being one of them, and you put on display like a demo of how to do our executive service, which is like the top tier flagship service, all the towels, all the pampering going on. And you kind of did like a hands-on class of just like, okay, now you guys do it and show me the steps. And then we could kind of stop and ask you, like, is this, and that, like, a lot of shops I feel like don't even do something simple as that. Like, it's very it was a very technical thing you did, but at the end, it's a simple idea that, like, I'm surprised more people don't do things like that. You know what I mean?
Again, I just put myself in the position of an individual coming in for the first time and doing this stuff, take them by the hand, show them how it's done, or how I wanted it done. Cause that's a different also. I wanted it done a specific way. And just because we were such a, impressive barbershop, at one point we had people saying that it looks like this too expensive. I'm not going to go in there to get a haircut. That was some of the things that were said about the shop. But if this was going to be our flagship service, then I wanted it to be over the top. And I'm just glad you guys kind of took to it and liked it and did it at the end.
Yeah, no, it was cool, man. I, and the big thing, you try to get the continuity, everyone on the same page, and, getting clients expecting the same from everyone. And man. And then you keep people busy. Like, you were kind of like, like back to the militant thing and timing, and like, you want people there till around 6:30 if we're working till 7. Like, if you don't got one, stay till 7:30 instead of leaving early, because people at the bar are going to see people waiting in the chair or in the couch in the lounge, and it's going to kind of work hand in hand with each other. When people see a busy shop, and that was the constant question I would get towards the last year of working there, would be, does the bar ever get busy? Is this bar, granted, I would defend it, be saying like, dude, it's 11 a.m. Like, what bar do you know is busy at 11 a.m.?
Which is true.
Yeah. But, you know, it sometimes would be a Saturday, like 3, 4 o'clock, and there'd be like no one. And that's a problem.
That is a problem.
So, like, yeah, just.
But again, it's just finding the loopholes, you know, finding those little niches. What we found out, me, David, and the individual, was that when you're working together, meaning both things working at the same time, that's when we had our highest peak of money coming in.
Yeah.
And more clients would come in around those times. And what we needed to do was maybe find 2 shifts, so that way the morning shift and then the night shift, so that way both services would be available to the client that was coming in to experience, right? Because again, we used to leave at 7, turn off the lights in the barbershop, and then it turned into a bar, you know, and it was great. We had chess.
Shout out to Seth. The chess night was a massive hit.
That's
and
right.
I got to know him a little more when we went to the Knicks game. And the one thing
Atlanta
I remembered,
Checkmate Club.
Yeah, Atlanta Checkmate Club. Seth is killing it, man. He's the real deal. He's very passionate about chess, and he's making it cool. And you know,
anybody who puts a tattoo of a little rook this big,
he put a rook on his cheek, man.
Yeah.
And he's super like welcoming to get you started into playing chess if you're a newbie into the game. And yeah, he's been doing great things. But yeah, it was funny. I remember that night we came back from the Knicks game. We went to the bar and we're hitting a drink or two and we start bullshitting. And I remember throwing out the idea of this podcast.
That's right.
It's crazy. Like,
that's right.
And you guys were like putting the battery in my back. You're like, do it, man. It's going to be great.
Let's go. That's right.
Yeah,
it's
a year and a half later.
Been fun. Yeah, it's been fun seeing you grow this thing, man.
Awesome. Yeah, it is. It's fun, man. Hopefully I can keep up, the pace I was at. This is episode 45,
Hey.
I'm busy right now. I got to find the balance again of doing this and, working for myself. That's why it took some time. So let's dive into your background, Will. Let's go all the way back. I like to go all the way back, man. Let's get into where you were born.
All right. I was born in Puerto Rico, man.
Puerto Rico.
Yes. I lived there for the first 10 years of my life. And obviously, like a lot of people, parents got divorced. And my mom ended up moving us back to Queens and then Paterson, New Jersey.
Wow.
So, yes,
okay.
Sir.
So you really came up with that New York state of mind, that tri-state state of mind. I like it.
I got, mind you, 10 years old, don't know English. November, I land in New York. Come outside and they're like, what the hell is this? They're like, dude, it was cold, bro. So
like, what's this Macy Days parade? It's freezing out.
Dude, I had my aunt come, brought me a jacket. I'm like, what is this? I'm used to sneak, shorts, t-shirts, tank tops, let's go. Nah, and then I didn't know a lick of English. So
talk about that adjustment, like getting to, get friends in school, just fitting in. Like, how hard was it? And
the biggest thing for me was that I had a lot of family that was living with in the same block that I grew up in. So we would go to school. I always had somebody there that knew me or knew where I was, or I can always turn to and be like, yo, what's going on? And that kind of helped me out. But yeah, no, I mean, again, it was a very hard transition school-wise. But everything else was, I'm pretty open to dialogue. I kind of learned English fast, bad words first, and then everything later. You know how that goes.
Yeah. You have siblings?
I do. I actually have 3 sisters and a brother.
Oh wow, pretty big family.
I'm the oldest.
Oh, okay, that's dope. Okay.
I get to boss them around a little bit.
Yeah. Now, what is it? The oldest kind of didn't get away with a lot, right?
So I didn't get I didn't get a lot. I didn't get away with a lot of stuff while my mom was home. But when my mom wasn't home, I was getting away with everything, murder.
Yeah. So mom worked. a lot.
Mom
Trying
worked a
to put
lot,
food on the
and
table.
yeah, I mean, she was by herself when we got to New York, New Jersey, and she would be that type of mom. Lights turn on outside, your ass better be inside. If
Yeah.
not, I'm going looking for you. When people used to see the minivan roll up, they're like, "Well, you gotta go." So
stop playing stickball in the streets, man. You got
that's it. No basketball, with the little milk crate.
Yeah.
So couldn't do nothing, bro. Like those lights turn on, your ass better be home. But again, single mom, raising 4 kids at the time in New York, in New Jersey, and it was a lot, man. Eventually she got remarried. That was another transition to kind of get adjusted to having a stepfather. But I credit him for allowing me to become the man that I am today. Hardworking, all that stuff. Both my dads they're hard worker, both in their own ways. But man, to be faithful at home, this, that, and the other. My stepdad was that guy. My dad, he's a great, loving guy, but you know what I'm saying. He wasn't there really.
Doesn't work out sometimes too between mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a product of that too, man. I'm an only child though, so I kind of got spoiled in it, when the parents split up. Then, but yeah, it's definitely a thing. Like seeing your mom being with someone new, and or remarrying, and it's definitely a transition. But yeah, just like you, I was lucky that those people were pretty good men as well. So, so transitioning, you're getting a little older. You're in high school. Kind of, what were you into? Were you playing sports? Was there any kind of like subjects you took to?
No, that's the only thing that kept me out the street. It was all the sports. I did wrestling in high school, played basketball in high school. I started chess in high school, boxing in high school, track and field in high school. So all that stuff, man. So they kept me out of trouble up to a point. Then in I believe it was '94, I got in trouble being out in the streets, and my mom caught me. She said, "Get on a plane. You're going back to Puerto Rico." So here I am, my junior year, starting my junior year in Puerto Rico, again, having to transition from English to Spanish.
Damn.
And then, dude, it was hell. School for me was hell.
Yeah, same. I think for most barbers, school was not like our favorite, that's why barbering's such a great option for people that like really didn't, thrive in school.
We're artists.
Yeah.
We're artists, man.
And I was like a late bloomer in a lot of ways. And if you're a late bloomer, barbering gives you such a great opportunity to kind of just, take it to a new level. And, but that's crazy, dude. I didn't know about that. So how'd you get back to the States after? Did you like graduate in Puerto Rico high school?
So I graduated high school and I started college over there. I was studying to be a phys ed teacher. Again, all the sports that I had done, I love sports, so I wanted to kind of go with that. And one summer, my aunt got me a job as as like a teacher for the summer.
Yeah,
I almost killed some kids, man. I said I can't do this. At the school.
Oh, at the school.
Nah, yeah, I can't do this, bro. Shit. I'm gonna kill somebody. Plus, I found out how much they get paid.
Right.
And that was a big no for me. So at that point, I graduated high school. I start college. I'm beginning my second year, and my dad moves. My real dad moves to Georgia to do a job or something. And I was like, well, I'm gonna go over there for the summer. So I got on a plane from Puerto Rico because I didn't see an out in PR. Right. Puerto Rico's great. It's beautiful. I was partying every day.
Yeah.
And I just didn't see myself kind of doing anything productive.
Yeah,
so at that point, I just said, look, I'm going to go over there for the summer. I had kind of like an inclination that I just wanted to kind of just dip from Georgia back up to Jersey. So the day after I get there on a Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, I'm already at the Coca-Cola factory. Loading trucks because my dad got me a job. So I was like, perfect. I'm just gonna hit the ground running, get some paychecks under me, and see what happens. And
what were some jobs you worked? What were
Do
some
you
jobs
really
you
want?
worked like just throughout that time?
You really want to know? Okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the
Get
shit we had to do, right? To get here.
get ready. I worked at the movie theaters. I
Okay.
worked at the airport as a customer service representative, assistant manager of customer service at 20.
Okay.
I worked at Baskin Robbins, Blockbuster.
Man,
I'm
Blockbuster.
again. I
Dude,
was
that had to
doing
be
like
a
jobs.
fucking awesome job. Blockbuster? Everyone should
It
have worked at
was,
one
man.
of those at one point.
It was when I worked in because okay, so when I lived in Puerto Rico right before I came over here in '99, I
Mhm.
was working at the movie theaters in Puerto Rico, and I was working at Blockbuster at the same time. So they were both
Yeah.
part-time jobs, but I was movies all day, every day. So
Yeah.
you could rent a movie with me, or you can go in there in the movies with me. So I was that guy.
That was a good time frame for movies too, I feel like.
It was it was great. Now everything is streamed, so it's kind of hard for movies nowadays.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's hard to find a good movie today. It's just like the ideas are recycled. It's just like I've seen this before, you know. So
That
all
is
those
true, man.
jobs, all those crazy
I worked
jobs.
at Delta too. I worked at Delta in 2010 to 2012 before I started in Midtown.
Okay. So
Mhm.
at what point did barbering come in? Like, did you brush up with it any like along life,
So
or how that
no,
kind of
no,
happened?
man. Um, in '99, when I came here, I had longer hair. Believe it or not, okay, I had
Yeah.
longer hair, and my first haircut here, they fucked my shit up.
Yeah.
No scissor work, all clipper, no clipper over comb. It was just kind of like leaving it up to the wind. So they jacked me up, and I find this guy finally, Puerto Rican, Benny Rosado, and he took me in, and he would cut my hair just like I wanted it, but I was picky, you know. Like, hey
Yeah.
man, look right here, get this right
That's
here.
all
He's
barbers
like,
are.
so he tells me, hey, you know how difficult this is to do, and
Wow.
I'm like, it's your gig, it's your job, right? And he's like, I dare you to go to school
Yeah.
and learn this. At that time, I was working with AT&T, and thing I didn't see an out of there either. So I was like, you know what? I could be my own boss. I could do whatever I want with the whole barbering thing. So I went to school. I didn't finish, right? So I just told the owner of the school, he's like, look, I could cut hair because I could, because
Yeah.
Benny at the time at that same time that I was working at the school, I was working with Benny on the side. So he would teach me. Then plus, once you know what a good haircut looks like,
Yeah.
you can have no experience, but you know what a good
You
haircut
can
should look
see
like.
it. You can see what it's
It's
supposed to be. Yeah.
That's right. It's just a matter of getting there. So what are the tools or what are the skills that I need to get in order to get there? So I knew what a good haircut should look like. So I got I got I got pretty quick with the fading. I told Benny the first thing I said is like, hey, what's the hardest thing to do? He said ball fade. He said, all right, we're gonna start there. I
Yeah.
want to learn how to do a ball fade. So from there, I took off. That happened. So I got my license in '04, and I was working with him for like maybe 2 3 years before that.
Okay.
So that started there, but it was a bet. It was a bet. He bet me that I couldn't do it, and I went to school. And he said, "I'll give you your first job if you go." I'm like, all right, and he gave me my first job.
Sweet. What part of Georgia was that?
That was in Marietta.
Oh, it was in Marietta. Cool.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
So you weren't too far off. So you were living in Marietta at the same time then?
I was. I was.
Cool.
Marietta, Cobb County's always been my stomping ground as
Okay.
far as barbering goes. Before I went to Midtown.
Gotcha. So fast forward, what kind of led you to Midtown? How did you kind of progress through your shops and your growth? And
So at the time, I was working for Delta Airlines,
Mhm.
and I was working. I went ahead and I saw the barbershop in Midtown, and I started working there part time because again, the money that was coming in was not enough up in Marietta.
Yeah,
And I had my daughter. I got my daughter, my wife, house, all that stuff. So I'm like, man, I need more money.
yeah,
And that was the growth, man. I went ahead. I talked to a client of mine, which was the guys that I was telling you, the owners of this other place. They would come to me to get
Yeah.
haircuts, not go in their shop. They would come to me to get a haircut.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So I would cut their hair, and yeah, man. They told me, hey, man, whenever you want to, just come by, check it out. I went, looked at it, and I said, this is it. It's time to move. That's the fear. So like once I saw it, it's a wrap. I could do this. The people that were working there couldn't cut hair anyway.
Yeah.
So I knew I was gonna step in, and people were gonna look at my haircuts and be like, yo, he could cut hair. How do I get into his chair? Because again, at that time, there was real loyalty in Midtown about who was the barber that you set with. It was just whoever was available with the concept that they had, right? Which was the commission base. They really weren't worried about that communication with the client or building up that bond. They were just like, hey, man, let's just turn it around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
keep it moving.
It felt like that. It just felt like a glorified haircutter.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So I mean, I started there, and they were like, oh, we do haircuts every 30 minutes. So I'm like, mine's are 45.
Yeah.
But I started seeing everybody else's, the quantity of haircuts they would do a day, and it was like twice as mine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. How do I modify the way I'm working without cutting corners, right?
Yeah.
How do I modify the way that I work in order to generate that kind of money and still have the quality of haircut that I wanted to see? And that was it for me. I started figuring that out, and you're a testament of it. You've seen me work, and I'm turning them every 30 minutes because that was just the way that I'm money driven, man.
Yeah. So let's talk about the 30-minute haircut real quick, like, and the importance of it. And I think it's like gaining a lot more popularity these days. Like people are starting to see how you can maximize off of that slot. And what are some things, just some simple, things you may have removed or tweaked, when you were learning to cut down from 45 to 30? Because I was the same way coming in. I was more of a 45-minute fader compared to a 30. So yeah, how'd you kind of?
I believe I told you this. The first one, stop talking.
Yeah, that's me.
Don't talk as much. You're like, man, I'm doing these haircuts as fast as I can. I'm like, yeah, but you stop and then you look at the guy and you talk to him like, hey, you know what I mean? You're like, did you see that game last night? And you're like, come on. You're like, just keep working. So that was the big one for me. I had to stop talking because I like that eye contact too. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, and then I would tell stories. And no, I had to cut that. That was the first thing. And then learning the clipper over comb kind of helped me out a lot because, again, every haircut you could tweak a little bit quicker with the clipper over comb, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, for me, it was just those little things. It's just maybe not talking as much, trying to figure people's heads are all different, man. So you got to tweak the haircuts, everything. So, I mean, again, it was just trial and error, brother. Trial and error.
Yeah, I mean, you do a good job. You fit in some stories too, but yeah, when to kind of just, shut up and get to work.
Well, yeah, when you see you're 45 minutes in, and you're like, damn.
Yeah.
Now I got to finish this guy up. My other guy's already sitting down, which is,
right.
The thing is, for me is we need to maximize our time.
Yeah,
we're there to talk and build a relationship, but we're also there to make money. This is how we make our living.
Oh,
so when people show up late, that's not really respecting. This is how I feed my kids, man. We're like, you need to make sure you respect that time. And I've had to fire many a client.
Yeah,
because of that. Because
they're always 10 minutes late.
And
you got 20 to cut the hair. That is one thing. Being in the suite today, that's why I don't let it happen, because I have 30-minute haircuts, listed. But if I get 2 in a row, sometimes I'm not going to let that third one come in there before I make some sort of adjustment, because
I got you.
All I have to do is domino, and then one person's late, and then I have 20 minutes, and I already go long. And so
it takes time, man. It takes time to get there to the point where you're actually turning them. But again,
it definitely changed my mind about a lot of things.
as long as you keep working at it and kind of figuring little tweaks out here and there, you'll figure it out. And then again, your client base kind of adapts to that.
Exactly.
Right? And then before you know it, you got a clientele that gets maybe your quick haircut is a ball fade, and now you got people coming in to get ball fades back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
And now you're making more money that way. So I mean, again, for me, I thank God that people, you know, barbers in Midtown just kind of wasn't as good at the beginning, and I was able to kind of sneak in there. And
Yeah, dude. Like I feel bad for clients if I don't give them almost like my act as like a comedian or something. Like I have to give them the same. Like I feel bad if I'm not talking about the same things I talked about with the other client.
Yeah, the thing is, then you have to charge for your act.
I do.
Right?
I do.
You got to charge for your act
to a degree. It's part of. I feel like it's part of what, you know, kept me busy coming into the suite and transitioning, and yeah, man, it's hard. You know, you're putting your own spin on things, and you're able to kind of dictate how you're going to perform and the environment and the experience for the client. And I try to replicate everything that you know, instilled in me and, you know, your staff in the shop. I try to replicate everything down to essential oils and the towels, like, you know, all the little things that they're used to.
A lot of people don't do that, man. A lot of people don't do that. And clients notice.
Absolutely. The little things go a long way.
Little things. That's right.
Like the same payment, the same thing they're picking up to make their payments. Like you got that, you know, the booking system, try to keep everything the same.
That's it, man.
Yeah, man.
Just keep it the same, and people would just, again, it's normal for them. There's no real transition there.
So you open up the shop and everything. Now exiting the Anguished, what was kind of the moment where you were like, this is it, I can't do this anymore? This is like, what was the turning point where you're like, I can't just, you know, withstand this?
It was, you know? It was the communication, the level of communication between me and that individual, you know.
But that seemed like it was always lacking. You know what I mean?
True. But at this point, David had already exit. Kim had exit.
Everybody so yeah, that seemed like to me, from my perspective, when David left, I'm like, man, like I found out after the fact, but like at the time, you guys kept it like great. You guys were like, he's going after another venture. No one knew he was kind of the glue that was like just keeping you guys holding on by a thread, you know.
The thing with David, once David left, I kind of looked at it, and again, David would be more than happy to speak on this. He was the one that told me, hey, look, figure out a way to kind of make this work with him, because I know this is your vision. He told me, this is your vision. This isn't not mine. This ain't his vision. This is your vision. So get with him, kind of talk to him, and this and the other. So what I told him was this, flat out. We're both gonna have more responsibilities around here. I just need to get a higher cut of what I'm getting, because I've been getting paid like the barbers. Again, no offense, but I was one of the owners, and I've been busting my ass there since the beginning.
And 2022 was one of your most profitable years, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's right. You know, for a barbershop to gross about $1 million,
that's a lot.
It's a lot. So all I wanted was to, like, hey, I'm gonna take on more responsibility. I want to take on a little bit more money. He went personal on some other things that we had kicked him out of the shop. Like, the reason why we told you to go stay with your mom was because the staff was gonna leave because they don't like you. They were gonna walk out. Everybody was gonna walk out on him.
Yeah.
So what we did, we just told him, hey, step away for a minute. Let me and David run it for a little bit, and let's get everybody up to speed and get it. Dude, we turned it around. He comes back. Here we go.
Yeah.
Again, so that's the type of stuff. And again, the money situation. All I wanted for him to say is just like, let's talk about percentage.
Yeah.
Let's sit down. Let's talk about a percentage. Again, he could have given me 5% increase. I would have been happy. But he didn't want to even have that discussion. he just said, "Oh, you guys got rid of me, and you guys didn't come out from on my behalf." How the hell are we gonna come on your behalf? We know what type of person you are.
Yeah.
So again, that was the moment. Once I knew that my own business partner was not in it to better both our situation or all of our situations, then it was time for me to go. Because that's not why I opened up that place.
Yeah, it's hard, man, seeing, something you envisioned and you followed through with it and it opened, and yeah, it sucks. I mean, it's a cautionary tale to a lot of other people seeing this too, that like, it's not always easy partnering up, and in a city as big as Atlanta, like it's almost impossible to open up something like that without partnering up with someone.
Sure.
And yeah, it's a shame, man, because the individual comes off as a very like a very easygoing, easy to get along with guy, and then the more and time goes by and people tell you things and you're like, what? I'm not seeing it. And
until it's everything is cool until you disagree.
Yeah.
Once you disagree, you're his enemy.
Yeah. And then in a lot of ways, I'm a pushover too. So I'm like kind of his person that I'm sure he looks for, but like, yeah, man, eventually you start to see the red flags, and people have told you enough things, and you can't believe you almost defended them in a lot of ways. And yeah, man, at the end I was scrambling to make things work. Here's a quick story. So when anyone that opens up a suite, one of your biggest expenses is your chair, right? It should be your biggest expense all at once. And
that's right.
It was like completing a Grand Theft Auto mission to get the chair in my suite without anyone knowing, while I was at work and in between clients. And so, like,
because we're right down the street. They I guess the folks need to know that we're only a block and a half away. You buy your chair. A lot of people don't know this. Barbers that want to start your own suite, it's going to cost you probably 3 bones just to get the thing delivered. All right. Right. So take that right out of the gate. 2 to 3 bones. It takes 50 just to get off the truck. So just for the, like, that's $50 right there. That's it.
And then delivery guys aren't, they're delivery guys. They love to come at you with, I ain't got to do shit. All I got to do is, all right, man. Sorry. Sorry. I'm thinking I'm going to get one of those guys. And so they give you that range where they're going to drop off the chair. And it was like, 10 to 1 or something. And I'm like, fuck. So I picked like 2 30-minute slots that I blocked, like kind of like skipped them. And I'm like, man, I hope one of these line up. And one of them did. And I had about 15 minutes to go direct this guy in the garage in the back, wait for him. And then he comes. And so he drops the thing down. And he's like, all right, where are we going? Me, I'm looking for like one of those. I saw a flatbed from like Home Depot, one of those like cards.
Dolly
like,
things,
oh,
yeah.
this will fucking help me out. I can stash this away and like come back later. And then this fucking guy comes out with the pallet jack. Like, where are we going? I'm like, dude, you're saving my life right now. And he fucking rolled that thing straight into my suite. And I run back to the shop and I'm following in my next client. No one knew nothing. I was covered in sweat, but no one knew nothing happened. And so, like,
yeah, I mean, again,
yeah, that's a hard thing to kind of hide it, And
I did what I hit it. I did what I had to do. You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
As far as keeping to myself, I was like, okay, if I have this, what I got to do, then I got to do it.
Yeah, all parties involved did a pretty good job of, just keeping everything tucked away and just making sure the operations were going day to day smooth. And but yeah, man, once you start to see, you went, couple heavy hitters in the shop left, Mika leaves, and then you're just like
the top 5 earners of the barbershop left with me.
Yeah,
or behind me.
That's huge. Yeah, once that happened, me, I'm thinking I'm still building. Selfishly, this is an opportunity. This is a good opportunity for me to kind of build while I can before whatever happens. And yeah, I can't speak enough about doing it the right way. If you want to open up a suite, you have to build the right way, and you can't rush it. Once I found out the shop might be closing, I kind of like, I got to time this as close as I can to the closure, because then there's going to be a situation where clients need a new home and I can hopefully capitalize on it. And you hate to think of it like capitalizing, but I mean, at the end of the day,
it's an opportunity, man. You have to take it.
When you're your own boss, you can't leave any stone unturned, and you got to make sure. I remember you telling me something.
Even those clients that annoy you, they're the ones that you want to. They're the ones following you the most. Like,
exactly.
Like, I'm going. Yeah.
You told me, you're like, you got to bring everyone, even the ones you hate. And I'm like, right. That's just true. So yeah, I've had a couple of those already, but yeah, man, it's been beautiful. So let's talk about, this obviously isn't what you wanted, in the end, being in the suite, but how did you kind of make the best out of the situation? And, kind of what other ventures are you kind of diving into and, kind of parlaying into?
Well, you know that I've been a dog breeder, I show dogs and all that stuff for almost as long as I've been married, 20 years. And I'm picking up photography now. I think that's a good avenue for me. Again, it's another avenue that you're a creator. You're your own.
Exactly.
You're your own artist. You see your vision and you try to capture it. So I think that I'm in the same. Yeah. No, it is good. I enjoy it. I've made some investments for the business as well, because again, I could do my own marketing with it. And but I also want to grow that a little bit more and see where it goes. The dogs is always that's the constant for me, man. I have to be around animals, man. That's what I do.
Yeah. Let's dive into that a little bit. Like, I mean, sometimes you tell me, I'll be, because I walk by your suite to go to the bathroom, right? So
yeah,
if your suite's open, I'm like, what's up, man? And then, sometimes I'm like, oh shit, he's not here today. And then you're like, dude, I just made like 13 grand, like, driving to so-and-so to do this. And it's like, damn. So this is like an actual bona fide side hustle. And,
yeah, it is, man.
Keeping them churning, man.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's fun for me. Obviously, my wife doesn't think so as much, but, it's either that or the strip club, like I tell her, but,
right.
She cracks up when I tell her that. They're like, get the dog. She's like, get the dog. So I'm like, all right. So, but nah, it's I'm creating again. Is an art. I'm showing. I love showing. I love. It's more of a showing off type thing. I used to show horses. I show dogs.
What kind of breeds are we talking? Bully.
So yeah, the American Bully breed is what I have.
Okay.
I've been doing that for about 20 years now, 15, 20 years. And the horses were the Pasofino horses, which are the Spanish tap dancing horses, like they call them.
Okay. Yeah. Damn, man. Yeah, I rode a horse. I think I rode a horse when I was 7, and I rode a horse last summer in Colombia. And man, like those creatures are something to behold and respect, man. It's yeah, like
extremely powerful. So funny story.
God.
I finished barber school.
Mm-hmm.
In all my life, I wanted to be a horse trainer. So decided I went ahead. I got myself a job as a horse trainer up in like North Georgia, almost close to Chattanooga. So I would drive from Cobb County up there every day, 5 o'clock in the morning, to go ahead and start working up there. Finish up around 7 or 8 o'clock at night over there. Start heading back down to do it again every day. Because again, it ain't a 9 to 5, and I'm off on the weekends. The animals are there every day. So I had to go do that. So here I am thinking I'm going into a setup where I have other individuals that would help. Nah, man, I'm taking care of 13 horses by myself. Cleaning stalls, bathing, training, whatever was needed, I was doing. At one point, there was a yearling that kind of jumped the fence and kind of got himself stuck on it. So he's about to break his leg off. So to try to save the animal, I jump and I grab the elbow of the horse, and I'm kind of holding him, trying to calm him down. And here I am screaming out of the top of my lungs to try to get somebody to come and help.
Yeah.
Nobody's there, bro. So it took me 30 minutes to get this horse to kind of actually help me pull him out of the situation. I collapsed. I kind of thought about it. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to do this. The next day, I ride this horse. She bucks me off, break my nose, puncture the lung. I said, that's it. I'm done.
That's it, man. Fuck. Yeah, don't get yourself a collapsed lung doing this, man.
Dude, now I'm young, you know what I mean? I'm like, man, I could die doing this stuff, man. So
oh God,
I respect horses. I love horses. They're my first real true love. I got a tattoo of it. So yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Shoot. So let's talk a little bit about living out some childhood dreams and maybe brushing shoulders with some like high profile like superstars or athletes that we're watching on TV. You know, how'd you kind of find, I mean, so you talked about fighting and having a wrestling boxing background. Did that kind of put you in tap with some fighters and the UFC guys?
So to be honest with you, no.
How'd that work out though?
So I had this individual that his name was Clay Harvison. Clay Heavy Metal Harvison. He's an ex-UFC fighter. He came to the barbershop. He would get always these crazy haircuts. He wanted designs. He wanted all kind of stuff. So I used to love that because, again, that was an aspect of the industry that I hadn't tapped into. So every time he would come in, I saw it as an opportunity to kind of do something new and kind of learn. So I did. He was the same individual that kind of put me on with at least the MMA fighters that ended up going from the local circuit here into becoming, Bellator champion 2 or 3 times in Douglas Lima. Diego Lima, his brother, actually won the Ultimate Fighter. He was runner-up on both times that he was there. So again, it was that, I also had Clay was the guy that told me, hey, Will, you need to open up Twitter. You need to open up Twitter. I'm like, that's when Twitter first came out. I'm like, oh,
I was there for it too.
Yeah, I'm not computer savvy, man. I ain't trying to do all that. He's like, man, we're gonna open it right now. So as I'm cutting his hair, he's opening up my Twitter account. So I'm like, okay. So at the beginning, it would tell you, hey, follow some people, so that way, you know what I mean? So here I go, first person, boom, Patrick Ewing, boom, Patrick Ewing Jr., boom, all the UFC fighters, all that stuff. So I kind of use that to kind of just keep track of them. But that same day, Patrick Ewing Jr. puts a post, and he's like, hey, I'm back in Atlanta. I'm looking for a barber. If anybody knows, let me know. So, I was being a little, I guess I wanted to reach out, so I didn't know if I should, but I was like, screw it. I went ahead.
I don't know how the Twitter works. I'm just gonna fucking do it.
Yeah. So I wrote to him, and I'm like, hey man, look, this is my profile. You can check it out, and if you like it, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help. That's all I said. And 15 minutes later, hey, it's Patrick. I'm like, okay. He's like, can you come cut my hair? I'd be like, can you come to my house? I'm like, let me check my schedule. I called everybody. I kicked everybody out. Like, look, I gotta go. So I jumped in the car, went to his house. We became pretty good friends, and we used to go golfing. And I cut hair for him for his wedding. Got to meet his dad, who was my idol growing up.
Yeah, talk about that. Just that moment, like you're like, wow. Looking all the way back when
dude, here I am.
What's his name? Benny Blanco from the Bronx. What's the dude's name?
Blanco from the Bronx. So I'm like,
when Benny taught you how to cut hair, and he said, "This is not easy." How did you think you were gonna end up meeting Patrick Ewing somehow through this avenue?
I couldn't even think about that. This industry opening up all those doors for me. To being able to meet Patrick Ewing, to being able to travel with the fighters to Vegas to go cut their hair before their fights, or go, follow a guy for a championship, and I'd be like, all right, I got to go over there and cut his hair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of talking to those guys before they get their mental ready to get smacked in the face. You know what I'm saying? It's big.
That's pretty cool. That's an interesting thing. Cutting them up while they're getting in the right headspace. Like
it's crazy, man. Especially because you got to cut their hair prior to the weigh-in, right? So this is their worst point of their concentration is making weight.
Yeah.
You imagine a guy in Diego Lima, good friend of mine. He walks around maybe 215, 220. He drops down to 170.
Jesus, dude.
By the time he got on the scale at one point, he was just bones.
Better pass out.
But again, these guys do it. They excel when they fight. So, I mean, again, it's a beautiful thing. Getting the opportunity. My wife got to meet Anthony Bourdain due to me going to a UFC fight. And we're front row because, you know, we get the tickets. We get the hookup.
Yeah.
So, and Anthony Bourdain sitting right there. My wife's like,
R.I.P.
big fan. Hey, he got a picture taken with him. Who else, man? Chuck Liddell.
Ernie Johnson. I saw you got a picture of Ernie Johnson. That's dope.
EJ used to go to the barbershop that I used to go to. So me and EJ used to get into conversations about my New York Knicks. But back in the day, we sucked. So, you know, Ernie, to be honest with you, Ernie Johnson is the nicest person I've ever met in my life.
Seems like
hands down. I got to cut hair for his son one time. He was in a wheelchair, and we got along just fine.
Seems like a hell of a guy, man.
Nah, man. Again, you won't meet a human being better than that guy, man. I you know, his son, you know, passed away about a couple of years ago.
Right, I remember
that. I hit him up, and he hit me back, man. I mean, like, you don't expect these guys to be Patrick Ewing. I expected, you know, I don't know what I expected, to be honest with you, because that was the first time I met somebody that I watched on TV religiously, and he was my guy. I would go to the trenches for him without even knowing this guy. I was getting ready to run over Reggie Miller and Jordan.
What'd you ask him? Did you have any questions for him?
I mean, I did. I said, yo, you know, how you feel about, you know, Jordan? He's like, we don't like him that much. And same thing about Reggie Miller. And then he was like, yo, why you ask me that? Like, because if I see him, I'm still to this day running him over. So he was just dying, man. But getting to know him again, when I met him, I was cutting hair in Patrick Ewing Jr.'s restroom, which was the size of a goddamn McDonald's.
Yeah.
And here I am cutting hair for his stepdad, and he's like, hey, yo, Will, from the kitchen. Hey, yo, Will. I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, yo, I got somebody I want you to meet. It's a wedding party. I don't, you know.
Yeah.
Here I am cutting hair, and like, yo, this is my pops. And like, as a barber, you know, you got to clean your hand. We're like, get all that hair off. And we're like, how you doing, sir? This and the other. I told him I need 5 minutes to be a groupie. He's like, go ahead. And then that's when I asked him those questions. He was cracking up. But such a humble people. You know what I'm saying? That you wouldn't expect them to be so humble.
Yeah.
But the same thing with my UFC fighters. Humble, man. I mean, these are guys that would take their shirt off their backs to help you out. And you know, I didn't expect that. Especially from Patrick Ewing, I did not expect that. For him to be such a nice person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes it even better, man. It's like this dude you idolized your whole childhood, you know, most of your life.
Now, I must say, I expected him to be a little bit thicker. I was looking at him, I'm like, man, I could push you.
You're getting old.
I'd be like, you're getting old, man. He's like, I don't know. His son and I, he's a great guy. Play golf. I didn't play golf. I'd be like, but you know, they invite you to go play golf. You go play golf. Yeah.
Figure it out.
Had a great time, man. Great time, man. I loved it.
Hell yeah, man. Barbering opened those doors. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Absolutely.
So now you seem like always someone that was composed and just like you never had like a bad day. Like did you ever name me the last time that you like you just weren't hitting on all cylinders, you know what I mean? Like in the shop or like just, you know, it seemed like you've just been at this level for so long. When was the last time you struggled or tell me an experience where you were just like, not satisfied with yourself. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I mean, again, that happens often. And then,
Yeah. You
again,
get humbled a lot as a barber. Absolutely.
Yeah, holding yourself to a different standard kind of puts me in that. Nobody's going to criticize my haircuts or my work more than me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm that guy. I'm gonna make sure that when you leave there, I'm satisfied because I'm pickier than you, whether you believe it or not. And that's how I put it on my mind. Like, I need to make sure I'm the pickiest guy. I can't have this guy picking at this haircut at all. So how do we get there? And again, if sometimes you go from 30 to 45 in order to get that haircut done right, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But as far as having bad days, you know, I was in a car accident about 4.5 years ago, and my back, you know, after that, my back has not been the same. And you're a testament to that. Like, you know, there were days I just could not move. And
I saw you,
but I still cut hair.
I saw you do this move where you decompress your back on the edge of the counter. You kind of do like a little like dip drop thing and like pop your back. Dude, I do that same shit, dude. When I saw you do it in the shop, I was like, "Oh my god, these are the perfect counters for that." So I did that shit all the time in your memory.
doing this for 20 years and being standing up, you know, we take a beating. We take a beating in our body, our knees, my lower back, you know, and again, I'm 46. I'll be 46 years old this year, so we ain't getting no younger.
So what'd you kind of do adjusting from the accident? Where was kind of the rehab and where some of the adjustments you had to make to stay up?
Well, the biggest thing was not stopping, which is the problem, right? Because again, we don't work, we don't get paid.
Yeah.
So I had to go ahead and continue to work while I was getting treatment. So I got treatment, and again, it's been ongoing because I still go get treated. I still wake up at 2:00 in the morning because of soreness or discomfort in my back, and I have to lay down on the floor. My wife has to wake up.
Upper back,
lower back,
lower
back.
My wife has to. Man.
No, I mean, again, everything we do, we have to stand up. It's all core, right? And when you like rice and beans like I do, it's tough.
Yeah, man. So are you able to like what do you do working out these days? Do you run? Do you still
walk,
hit the bag or whatever? Walk.
I have to walk. That's it. And again, it's also limited because if I say like let me go to the gym.
Yeah.
My body thinks I can still do shit. I can't do it.
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest adjustment. I said, I'm like, it ain't worth it, dude. I'm not gonna push.
But you know what, man? The biggest thing for me is like because of all the sports that I did growing up, and I competed here for the Olympic weightlifting when I was 20 in 1999 and 2000. Dude, that took a toll on my lower back. Eventually, you know what I'm saying? Like all that kind of like compacts together.
Yeah.
And but I believe that I was fine, and that accident occurred, and it threw everything out of the loop. You know, I mean, I would be out. There were times that I would have to go to the doctor to get just shots of like muscle relaxers to kind of just relax my back because I was cramping and I had just tightness, like I couldn't move, like in my lower back, and then it would run up. I'm like spasms, and I'm like, it really, really sucked after that. But you know, doing all the sports that I did, I kind of still have that mentality. If I go to the gym now, I can still do these things.
Yeah, man.
Know? I can't do Olympic weightlifting no more.
Diet's the big thing now, right? You gotta watch what you eat.
Yeah, Chipotle.
we're doing the intermittent fasting right now, so it's been we got.
I get angry.
Yeah, I'm the guy that skips lunch if I can.
I used to skip breakfast, but I can't. I don't do it anymore, man. I just eat.
Yeah. Now that I'm in the Swede, it's it's kind of like you just pick your spots. It's just nice getting in there. I almost look.
You're gonna start walking around the block. You're gonna start walking around the block.
Yeah, I've been checking out the new spots. Yeah. I mean that Indian spot a couple down from us. I mean that
Tablas. Oh my
Tabla's the
God,
shit, man.
delicious.
That's like
Delicious.
let's take this to go when we get out of here.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So a couple more quick fire questions for you. So if there's anything that a barber should invest in with their education, what do you think you should lean towards, and what do you think you should avoid when it comes to
Again, it's all on your learning curve, right? Your skill.
Yeah.
You need to, obviously, the simple one is you need to know how to cut hair.
Yeah.
Right. That's the first one. And then after that, maybe invest into more time into marketing yourself, putting yourself out there. Your business relations, or even, getting to know more barbers, or, shaking hands and kissing babies at the end of the day. But for as far as education goes, don't be afraid of taking courses just because you see these guys, doing dyes and doing all these lines. Go over there, learn how to do it. Just in case, you never know when you have that client come in and be like, yo, can you sauce me up? And we do it. You know what I'm saying? We're like, oh Lord, we're gonna cake them up. But again, it's a skill. I saw a guy with a design once. Like, this was back to my earlier days, and it was like, yo, I want to do that. Like, I want to stand out. I guess that's just me. Between showing dogs and all that stuff, I just like showing off, I guess. When I know that I can handle it, right? So I can do it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's good to have some extra tools in the bag outside of your base, and that all of the early things that you've learned. It seems like there's advanced like shear work. There's a lot of different kind of techniques with shears, and then there's a lot of there's a lot of like financial smart things that barbers need to really kind of dive into as well. And retirement. How are we going to retire? Because that is like one of the biggest mysteries of barbering. And like,
they say barbers die behind the chair.
That's
what they say, right? And my wife showed me a picture once of an old gentleman, had to be pushing 100.
Yeah,
he's over there sweeping the back of his chair, and I have that in my phone, and I always keep it on my mind. But like, you don't want this. You don't want this. So what do we do? And as far as financial stuff, they don't educate you on that.
No.
So I believe that there should be some sort of courses kind of helping not just barbers, but just individuals in general to learn how to go
especially when we're young, especially when we're in school. Like at that age, there's nothing. Why are
we taking calculus? Can you explain that to me?
Seriously, you got all these like
shit. Like, dude, just teach economics. Let's go ahead and learn how to use this money.
Yeah. Like, substitute one of these like like upper tier math classes for like a financing class, like finance.
You know how to add, you know how to subtract.
Yeah.
You good. That's it. Keep it
Once they started doing the hieroglyphic shit, I was out. So yeah,
I don't miss school, bro. I don't miss school.
Dude, I talk about in the early days of this podcast, I said I'm making this podcast for people that when they went to the board and they didn't know the answer, like in math class, those are the people I'm making this for. Like, I
got a funny, like you said, board, and immediately a story came to mind about when I went to go take my test to be a barber.
Oh yeah, how was that?
So, mind you, we were in a room that was like maybe 10 by 10. And there was about 12 of us in there.
Yeah. Tight.
So here we go. I'm in the chair, and there's 4 instructors in there kind of checking everybody. So here I go. I'm about to do my shave. I finished my haircut. I'm confident. And we start doing the shave. And this is my boy sitting down. So I've shaved his face all the time. We good.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, here I go. I pump up the chair. I lean him back. I'm starting to shave. I lather him up. I'm about to start the shave. Bro, the hydraulics on the chair break. That razor went straight to his ear.
No.
Cut him. But thank God that the instructors were right on top of me. They saw the chair fall. They said, patch him up. You're good. I passed.
Yeah. Dude, something similar happened to me. Like, I wasn't familiar with the locking of like, it was like a very classic chair. It was one of those like levers where you had to like twist it after you pulled it or whatever. And dude, I spun around real quick to like put my razor, fuck around, and like I turn around, my client fell all the way back. And I'm like, holy shit, no one saw that, right? All right, let's
keep it moving.
Yeah, let's keep it moving. And yeah, but dude, that's like that had to be a situation where it was like, God, you want to talk about sweating
Dude, I didn't know. I didn't know if I was gonna pass or not. They just told me patch him up and you're good. And I'm like, okay, so I patched him up and I finished my shave. I didn't care. I was gonna finish the shave.
Right.
But dude, this guy bleeding from the side. I'm like,
it's a bad look. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it was and mind you, that client still comes to me today.
Oh yeah. He says your boy, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's a long relationship there.
That's it, man. That's it.
That's the best, man. So I got one more, man. Where do you think along the whole journey, it's been a long journey, that you made a mistake along the way? The mistakes you made.
I'm gonna be real honest with you. I don't think we made mistakes. We learn from what we don't agree with or don't. We learn. That's it.
That's
There's
the
a
best
learning curve. Yes. You're not gonna be happy with everything that you do, but you learn from it. Even this experience with the Anguished Barber, I learned from it. I'm learning how to conduct business on my own. I'm trying to grow the business on my own. I mean, again, this is all you. So now you get some more growth, and you'll experience this as you gonna work more. You've only been working a couple of weeks in there, but once you like, even after 1 year, I'm already like, okay, not what's next, but how can we grow it a little bit?
Yeah.
How can we go one step at a time and kind of get to those places? But it's all about learning from your mistakes or from what you consider to be your mistakes. But honestly, it's life, man. We're just living it.
Yeah, dude. Like I've noticed, just being a business owner, like it's like it never turns off. That like, okay, now I need this. Now what can I do? Like it never stops. And I guess when it does, maybe it's time to think about something else. But yeah,
I always
man.
show myself that if I dream about my job, if I'm working while I sleep, it's time for me to go. It's time for me to do something else. Thank God I haven't done that. But when I used to work at Blockbuster, I used to dream of, because I worked at the busiest Blockbuster in Puerto Rico. Dude, we used to carry like 30 or 40 at a time to go put them up.
Yeah.
And dude, I would dream about that. I'm like, oh my God, I need to stop working.
Yeah. So you like to separate the work a lot from the personal life.
I do. I do, especially having 2 kids, man.
Yeah.
I like to give them their time as well. That's why, thank God that I've been able to kind of build this over maybe 20 years now of cutting hair here in the Atlanta area. That now I can take the weekends off and just spend time with them and just kind of enjoy.
There they are, man.
There they are. They're the little ones.
I'm not trying to make you shed a thug tear here at the end, but
hey, man.
that's what it's all about,
good,
man. Right there, the beautiful family.
That's why we work.
Absolutely, man. That's why we keep it together. That's why we stay consistent and keep it rolling. So my last question to you is, how in God's name are the Knicks not going to win the finals next season? How do we not win?
If we don't figure out the center position
okay
quickly, I believe that yes, we'll be very good, but we won't get past the Celtics or the Sixers at that point. We need to go ahead and figure out Mitchell Robin. If you want to keep Mitch, keep Mitch. I don't have a problem.
He's more of an old school center type player. Do you think we should keep it old school or have someone more of a
I believe that if you keep
game?
him, you move him to the bench and you bring in a 5 that can stretch the court.
Yeah.
That's why I still believe that the Knicks may make a trade with unfortunately Julius and bring in Cat. I know we don't want that. A lot of people are backlashing that, but the situation is that we would be a crazy offensive threat to anybody in the league if he would come. But defensively, that's what he lacks. Now, what they're counting on is that Tibbs has been a center whisperer
Yeah.
So hopefully he can turn Cat into a defensive minded
Right.
individual.
I mean, there's no one else on the team that's gonna not play defense. So he's probably gonna look around like, fuck, I better get my act together. Like,
But I'm gonna be honest with you. After Jalen Brunson took less money, $113 million less
oh yeah, saw that.
than what he was expected to make. I believe that don't push it out. That I think Julius could probably do the same.
Yeah.
What if Julius takes
we're
less
setting
money?
ourselves up, man, for the future, and we still have first round picks. Like we gave up a lot to get Mikal Bridges, who I love. And who we draft when we should have drafted him? Kevin Knox, or was that the Ntilikina year?
Yes,
that was Kevin Knox.
Was Kevin Knox.
Fuck, dude.
Ntilikina was
the year after, right?
Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, that hurts.
That was when Phil fucking Jackson was here. And
dude, I feel like Ntilikina was a Tibbs guy. I feel like Tibbs would have got the most out of someone like Ntilikina. Because he would show up on defense.
He couldn't shoot.
He'd show up on defense. He could be like the Deuce McBride.
But right now we have Mikal. We don't need.
He's definitely not a first round pick, Ntilikina.
No, he should not have been a lottery pick. No, absolutely not. But I think that we have a great team right now. The biggest thing for us this year is just to get the center position solidified, and we're good because we have OG locked in for 3 years or 3 or 4 years. Mikal 3 years. Jalen right now for 4 years. You know, we have right now Julius locked into 1 and a player option, or I think it's a team option. I don't know. I got to figure that one out. I have to look into it. But those are the things that are going on right now. And according to everybody now, Mikal said that he may take less. If these guys are buying into the team,
that's like what it is.
Yeah, if they're buying into the team and they figuring out, hey, if we take less, the team could do more, then let's make it happen. And I believe that is going to be happening now with this new CBA, that they're going to make it more about teams and not so much about the individual, which has been the LeBron legacy.
Yeah,
that he makes it about him, not about the team.
100%,
in my opinion.
Yeah, no, we've the reason why we've done so well is because we got guys that play their role and they have the chemistry and they do their job, and it's pretty simple. You know, they show up and they fight, dude. They fight.
That's what I love. But
it's fun to watch.
Their continuity just it's visible. You can see it.
We're physical.
You know, the Nova guys, they're just gel, right?
Yeah.
And then everybody gels around them. So it's kind of like that. There's, mind you, OG and Mikal were at in Vegas together, hanging out. So can you imagine those two playing defense together at the same time on the floor?
Dude.
Put Mitch as the 5. Put McBride, and then you bring in Hart. Dude, who's gonna score? Nobody.
And then they won't be giving a shit for having, a 7-man rotation anymore, too.
Well, it doesn't matter. I believe that Tibbs has grown out of that, man. I mean, again, he had no options playing that 7-man. He had no options.
No, we had no options.
You won
the guys that were getting hurt were the guys that were always getting hurt. It wasn't the guys playing the 40 minutes either.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
But we're going to be okay. It's just a matter of solidifying that center position right now.
Absolutely, man. So, Will, you got anything in closing that you want to say? Any kind of things you want to promote here at the end, or?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you for bringing me on and allowing me to kind of tell my story and kind of clear up some things so much with you about what occurred. And, it's that's pretty much it, man. I got my dogs, P-Rock Kennels at IG, and man, I got 10 puppies, bro. You want to come over here and buy one?
Yeah, beautiful pups. I saw some pics. I'll put up a couple too.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. All right, dog. Well, that was another wonderful episode of the Your Barber podcast. Will, salute, man. Appreciate you making the time tonight. And I'll see you. I'll see you at work, man.
Yes, sir. See you Wednesday.
I'll see you, man. The hustle never stops.
Never stops. Here we go.
All right, brother. Have a good night. See you.
You too, man. Later.
Thanks for watching another episode of the Your Barber Podcast. New episodes come out weekly on Sunday. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Apple Podcast and Spotify to be notified when new content is posted. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.